So good evening and welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, bringing you all the action here on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. And we're live from the old beer cellar studio and going to be bringing you lots of action on what is going to become effectively a Watopia week here on the Donny Chaingang. Now, Russ and myself having a very short discussion about where we fancy going. It was probably one of the quickest ever.com because we decided Watopia needed a bit of a revisit. So time to go dive in to the world of Zwift and into Watopia. Before we go over to Russ, a couple of quick things for you. A quick reminder. If you fancy having a chat with Dean Downing, don't forget you can log on to join us on Friday night, and that's going to be at 7:30. Grab a drink with Dean Downing and members of the DCG gang. They get a discount to take that as a free event, and of course, if you're a member of the Facebook page, then there's 50% discount as well. So the best thing to do, join the Facebook page. Make sure you go on there and you'll find all the details and get a discount on the event as well. That's this week, Friday at 7:30. Make sure you get signed up for that. There is a limited number of places on that, so make sure you get in quick. I think there's only literally about 15 places or so left, so you need to be in pretty sharpish on that one. Now, we are going to head across to Russ, who has been getting just a little bit damp out there. Let's see if we can get hold of the man that they call the bear out in his pain cave to be today and making do with the back room, I'd imagine, at the moment. Hello, Ross.
Hello, mate.
So, did you get a bit damp today?
Yeah, not so much today. We'd sort of nearly finished, and we were ran out of products, mate. Materials. We were putting it down that fast. But yeah, yesterday was a horrible one. Hiding under the covering, a few more courses, hiding again. So not the best weather to be building a breeze block pain cave, but that's life.
It is indeed, and we're back in at least a sunny world for Watopia. And two cracking routes this week, two favourites of lots of people, including me. I really do like these routes. First of all, tonight we've got sand and Sequoias, so a flat rollout with the wonderful hills in the Sequoias before coming back down, and of course Tempest Fugit, which sticks in the flatlands on Thursday. So a bit of a contrast to last week.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, I think everyone's getting a bit pissed off with this weather now. So I thought we'd take them somewhere hot and warm that makes them feel a bit feeling better. So yeah, I love this sand and Sequoias. You know, that last climb there is good. You always get someone trying to chin off, and it's like, can we bring them back? Then we're down in the flats to the finish, and yeah, it's a sporting route. So yeah, it's all good fun.
And we've got big numbers tonight. We've got, I think it's due to be well over 115.
Yeah, you know, that's all good. You know, I know people are heading back out, but you know, everyone needs the DCG. It's bringing that many people on. It's giving them morale. Just on the chat now with Tom Lindley, he's a student of Vin Donny, who I went out on the bike with him at the weekend. He did 4 hours in a pair of trainers, mate, and he's honestly, we didn't really have to wait for him. He got slightly distance off the bike, but he just got on with it. You know, he rode from Mansfield. I met him at Top End Balls over there, and then went round Retford. And he's just said he's on here again tonight, and he's in his Adidas running trainers. So
the kid is really good. Yeah, I had a great time going out and riding around the area out in Pines with him, and he's a quick lad, and be interesting to see how he progresses. And I'm sure he's only going to get quicker and quicker. He's already fast enough. He's in the mix and learning all the time.
Yeah, so it's like he's jumped on it. He's on like a let's call it a retro Wiggins bike now because it's that old. But you know, it's a normal Wiggins bike, you know, and he just gets on with it, which is amazing. Imagine how fast he'll go when he gets some clipless pedals and a pair of carbon shoes. He'll be kicking everyone's head in.
He will indeed. He will indeed. He's going to have some serious watts per kilo, that's for sure. That is for sure. And, of course, we have got plenty of our regulars back. Interesting to see. I'm just keeping an eye on everybody who is joining at the moment. So we've got some of our newer regulars, people like Paul Whitelaw, and we've got old regulars like Jimmy Allen, and seeing plenty of riders in there. Kieran Brown back in with us once again. I know he's been out in the pouring rain today, and it's the AD Dates just joining us as well. And of course, the red beacon is Halls Tours. It is Andy Halls.
Yeah, Andy loves it, so it should be good fun. What colour's his bus? Is it some funny colours or something? I saw it.
I think it's a red. It's a red and blue, genuine Italian job bus. I think from the Escape on the Italian Job. And if you've never seen the Italian Job, the real classic one, then you need to watch it. Only for the fact that this is probably only for it, to be honest. So.
I just actually watched the newer one the other day. Actually, it popped up on Netflix, so I sat and watched that late one night.
Yeah, a bit different, but still fun.
Yeah, it was good fun. I say I've seen the originals class, but yeah, watching the revamped version the other day. So that's funny. Nice work, Andy.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it'll be interesting to see who is in that bus, and the riders are going to have to get out of the blocks with that yellow beacon. As the pack will move much faster than solo riders today, so we're going to let you get the riders brief for the pace, and we will catch up later, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm struggling here, mate. I've just wrote the notes and lost them, so it looks like I'm writing them again.
No, well, better leave you to it. Cheers, Russ.
Cheers, mate.
So great to hear from Russ. We hope he can type fast because he's got to get the notes out to the riders. Well, let's go through our notes with just over 2.5 minutes. We're at Sanding's Sequoias, and we have a lead-in of 2.5k. That is from the chevrons at the top left of the screen, through the red, through the orange, and to the rock arch. We then head out with only a slight climb in towards the lake. We come around past the turn on Tempest Future. That's right at the bottom of the map, and then in to the green forest, the old forest, complete with dinosaurs. Keep an eye out for the Diplodocus out and round circuit, and of course it does include the climb as we head up and through the trees that breaks all of the riders apart if we're not careful. And gotta remember, it is a real roller coaster all the way back down into the desert, and that is going to make things very interesting on lap 1, because our riders will need to try and hold it together there, and then it will be really interesting who's going to be in the mix on lap 2, because of course once Russ does give that go, it will all depend on where everybody's going to be. Now let's flick across from the details on the map, and remember we do finish at that rock arch, 42.8k under the belt. 2 lots of 146 metres, 292 metres, not the hilliest Tuesday we've ever had. Let's see how many people Andy Hawes is going to get in the bus as we move across to the picture. And it really does show you this is a route of 2 halves, because we make our way out and round, and we've just twisted this round about 180 degrees from the Zwift map, and that's quite simple to show you the detail of the climbs. It is pretty much pancake flat right the way down to the lakes, which are the bottom left corner here, right above that Velo Viewer graphic, and then making your way back in and through the Sequoias before dropping back down and round. Let's unpack that into something maybe a little bit more understandable and pull it across into a more linear version. And as you can see, really long flat section going out to the 20k sort of mark, effectively going out to the halfway point and then up onto the bumps. So we're going to do this lap twice. 20k, 10k of it flat, then we go in, slight riser, then we've got the big climb, the KOM, before dropping back through the roller coasters and down in towards the flatlands once again to finish at that rock arch. And remember, 2 laps of this for our riders is key, and that is exactly what our riders will face when they head out onto the circuit. and it's all about getting into that group now. I think the riders are just about heading out and underway, and looks like they're just making the way out from the start point. So let's jump up in the air, just keep an eye on these riders, hopefully rolling around the beacon now. And remember, guys, the aim is to stay by that yellow beacon. At the moment, that group looks like they're leaving. Rusford dead at the moment. He's just having a little bit of a tick along here. We've just rolling in with Russ, and let's see if we can pull up some numbers for him. 84 beats a minute, 93 revs, and just keeping an eye using the camera. And it looks like Russ just moving his tech about there just to get himself back into the right place. So if we just take a look from our helicopter shot, looks like it's all rolling down there. So let's jump in live with the riders. And we'll jump in with Russ Downing live here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne. Let's bring you the action from the Donny Chaingang. So the riders are well underway here, just rolling their way around the initial lead-in, 2.4k lead-in, and let's drop the show in on the head-up display. Top right-hand side, you can see the map rotating its way round, and that shows we go around the right-hand side of this loop, and then heading in to the gantry, and that gantry is a rock arch this time around. Remember, the aim is to get in with the beacon. So the group going to be settling itself down. Russ just sitting in and watching the group hopefully just rolling its way back in together, and you can see this group making its way round circuit, going to make their way round to the rock arches. Russ looks like he's just pulling that group together. So Russ, of course, the bear, our yellow beacon, the man who has the pace under his control. Contrary to what a number of riders think, it's all down to Russ as to where that pace goes. He's the man with the hand on the throttle. Looks like Andy Hawes as the red beacon, just keeping the bus engine warm at the moment, and hopefully not too many now. Remember, we have 115 riders in the gang tonight, and that means that you are not going to see all of the riders. And as you can see, riders dropping in with Andy here. Let's pull up on the screen. Looks like Nick Sweeting and Craig Genther just dropping back in. So it looks like Craig Genther just pushing on the pedals. Dan Ladle just joining late as well, just in with Dan here. And Dan just having to push his way in to the back of the group at the moment. So Dan on the rider who's been getting quicker and quicker. So the group hopefully starting to come back together. Just keeping an eye on Craig Genther and Mr. Mushet, who is just pushing on. They're going to be looking for Andy Horsehall's very experienced rider. Looks like Ticker's in with them as well. That's what we're looking for. Have a little bit of a run up the road towards Russ. And keep an eye on the riders. So let's keep a check here. So good to see the riders riding around. Russ with a nice hairnet on there. Looks like he's gone full retro with the hairnet, that is for sure. So let's have a little bit of a look on the way through this group. Quick reminder to our riders, remember the aim is to stay with the beacon. It is all about keeping the pace and the group together. And Russ, of course, our experienced ride leader, Russ and myself, having ridden on Zwift for the last, I can't remember how many years. It's heading up for at least 5 years now on Zwift, which is quite a scary thought. It might even be 6 now. The maths is not working this time of day, that is for sure. And the group here all together. Russ keeping the group in a nice pack. Remember, the aim here is to sit in a nice big blob around Russ, and that's exactly what we're seeing. And we're seeing our top riders, people like Paul Whitelaw, sat in the group here, and Paul just tucked on the wheels there with the quality goggles on. They're definitely going to be Oakleys. That is almost guaranteed. And got to say a massive hello to the guys at 1080. The new 1080 website is launched and is all rolling, so make sure you get yourselves on there. 1080, of course, key sponsors of the Donny Chaingang since its inception, and they are absolutely top notch. Now Andy Hawes just pulling rider after rider on to the group here, and Andy just trying to make sure he's got everybody in the pack with him. So it looks like he's done a great job there of grabbing the group in, and the pack is all together as we head into towards the lakes. So we're going to keep an eye on them, so just keep an eye there. Let's have a little look. Looks like Russ just sitting on the back of the pack here as we make our way in and through the group. Liam Calloway in here. So Andy Hawes doing an absolutely awesome job, and just going to go sprint his way back onto the group. The red beacon working so effectively at the moment. There's no danger of him leaving anybody behind. He's actually pulling people back in. Looks like Liam Calloway and Craig Herring, who are our usual sweepers, quite happy to pull him in and through, and just keeping an eye on Andy on that pink Pinarello. Pink because, of course, we've seen the start of the Giro. So good to see the group just about holding together. The screen at the top right hand side with the map giving a good indication of just how fast it's going. Just seeing that group starting to split a little bit as it comes over the crest, and that is the danger when we have the roller coasters out in the Sequoias that we're going to see that happening. Now just having a look at Mr. Herring, the rider who is in the group at the back here. And Craig messaging just to let us know that he's not a fan of the route on Thursday. Thursday's route is one of my favourite routes, mate. It's pancake flat, there's 0 hills in it. But if you get distanced off the group, you are in big, big trouble. It's going to come down to a big old sprint, that is for sure. So it looks like at the moment from the back to the front we've got about 9 seconds, 10 seconds across the group, and that's a surefire indicator that there's 1 or 2 people. We're just on the throttles just a little bit. So as Craig Herring says, he's just going to shut his eyes for the whole of Thursday's ride. That's generally my option on the turbo if it hurts, that is for sure. Now, good to see that the group are watching their screen so intently they haven't realised they've actually dropped the yellow beacon. Now, interesting to see the chat on the screen, and a heads up for riders when we come into the winter and on the run into winter, we will be trialling the yellow card scheme. Riders will get a nice warning, they'll get a formal warning, they'll then get suspended from the ride, and then they'll get banned permanently for disrupting the rhythm. It's okay when there's still 100 riders, when there's little numbers, but when we go to the winter, when we got big numbers, we need a means of control, and we will find that anyone who's a repeat and regular offender riding off the front or destroying the group will find themselves not riding in. And it is going to be really simple, because we will be preventing access onto the ride for regular offenders. Don't say you weren't warned, guys. We will be taking people out of the ride. The system will be put into effect with a shut-off happening on the joiner rides. The members of the gang, we know, don't play silly monkeys. However, there is always a group of Muppets prepared to try it on. As you can see at the moment, it looks like the show is heading off down the road. So let's jump in with Russ. I think he's just down in the main pack here. It's good to see Andy in the chat having a talk with Craig Herring. They know when to work hard and when not to, and just good to see the riders in the group dropping back in. So this is the group in front. This is the front group in front. There's a number of riders. You can just see the numbers, the power coming off on those riders. You can see who's paying attention to the group. They're drifting back as Russ keeps a steady pace rolling in to this group. You can just see Russ's watts per kilo here, just making sure everybody stays together. So 8k in, just making our way around the circuit. We're coming up to the main loop around, which is going to be the turnaround point on Thursday. This is for the Tempest Fusion, where we're heading out and back. But the group at the moment holding together, and Russ just bringing them through downtown Vegas effectively, as we're going to come in to the main area here. So in through the Vegas-inspired landscapes with the Zwift Alps in the background, the ski station, the mast up on the top of the hill is the top of the main epic mountain climb, not the outer Zwift, but the main epic mountain climb, just up at the top of the radar tower, just to the right-hand side of that range of mountains. However, our riders on a relatively flat ride today to go round the sand and Sequoias. And this group are well and truly packed together at the moment, and that's exactly what we want to see as they make their way down these straights with, as you can see, there are 100 and about 15 riders, because if we drop in, you'll see that Andy Hawes is in fact sat basically in the group. There's not a big gap between Andy and the red beacon and the back of the pack. It's all to do with how Zwift and the game renders it, and Andy just starting to get a little bit of a distance between him and what we can see, but that is quite simply because it's filled with riders. Now, looks to me like Andy does have company back there in reality, and there we go, drop them in for you. You see the missing riders suddenly magically appearing as we come in and through, and that is because Zwift as a game renders 100 riders. When you've got over 100 riders, it's the nearest 100 riders geographically out on circuit. So if you're on the front, you won't see the back. If you're on the back, you won't see the front. The only people you can see are the red and yellow beacons. So Horsey at the moment sitting on the back wheel here of Brett Dowtree. Looks like Shelley Charles, Douglas May, Nick Sweeting, Alistair Cootie, Tristan, Phil Lavery, all in that group all around Russ. Caroline Mansfield's in the gang again. The gritty CEO sat in this pack. And let's take a little bit of a look. I think Caroline sat riding in here and looking pretty smooth. Let's have a little look at the numbers. Heart rate not showing, so dodging the heart rate question, but sitting at 86 reps per minute, 148 watts, and looks pretty smooth on the way through. So we've just got the nearest 100 riders to Caroline as we head up on to the hillside here, and just starting to make our way out from the desert, and you just see the approaching hills turning into tree-lined sequoia forest. This ancient forest here, part of the Fuego Flats extension on Zwift, has a number of routes through it. TikTok uses it. We have, of course, the Fuego Flats and Tempest Fugit flatter sections, but we're going on to Sand and Sequoias, and the Sand and Sequoias section is a little hillier because it does have effectively a little roller coaster into the big climb and then a second roller coaster on the way out, and that makes life very, very difficult for the riders to keep it together as a pack. It's a skill that you need to have on Zwift. If you go and break the group apart, what you'll find is that you're not riding efficiently, because what will happen is that you will not have the bodies you need on the flatlands, and that's why it's such a good circuit for riders to learn those skills of riding in with other riders and holding a group together. Absolutely critical skill on Zwift, and that is the skill our riders quite often need to practice, it has to be said. Good to see Emma Lessica Ennis just there with the flat cap. Just in front of Russ, looks like Vin Donahue in that pack, and at the moment, as you can see, the helicopter's view obscured by the trees. So let's get the drone up in to the air and in between these trees as the riders make their way in and through. You can see at the moment that pack just starting to string out on the climb, and you're going to find this is where we get a little bit of a break up in there, but the red beacon holding the riders together at the moment at the back, doing a great job at driving the bus. But as you can see, as we go over these roller coasters, the gaps open on the downhills, it compresses on the uphill sections. Now, if we were going on the TikTok route, it's one that we have used before, you would be diving left, not in pretty short order. However, we're going to be keeping out to right and on to the bigger climbs, and on the way through we will be taking ourselves in up towards the bigger climb on the ascent in, and looks at the moment like our riders working well together, and the group not too strung out, and you can see it's a really difficult road to hold a group together, quite simply because of the drops and climbs on the way through, and the mist enveloping the riders to make the way around. We've got a little bit of a drop down, and you can see the riders just stringing out into the distance here. So I think there's going to need to be a little bit of a regroup as we come over the other side. Let's zoom that map in for you. Yep, you see a one long strung out line at the moment. So Russ in this group on that Pinarello in the green and black, interestingly using a disc wheel with a deep aero front on there. Let's jump in with Emma. Good to have Emma Lessica Ennis back in with us. Emma holding nicely in with this back, and Emma interestingly changing on to an aero bike with aero rims, but not using the discs, choosing something a little bit lighter and easier to accelerate up at the moment. But definitely, I think, a great combination. Go for an aero frame, deep rims, but nothing too crazy. So not a disc wheel. Russ going for the full-on disc at the moment. And if we take a quick look at Russ, you can see He is definitely looking like he's going to pay the price when it goes up and down. Now, this is our group around Russ. One or two groups just fracturing in front. Red beacon just starting to get distanced a little bit here as we make our way around. We've still got plenty, of course, and we did say watch out for the Diplodocus on the way through. You can see just currently taking a little bit of bath out in the primordial swamp there. The riders at the moment, though, are full of modern kit. Haven't seen a retro bike amongst them at the moment, and plenty of riders just nicely regrouping there. Looks like that front group just coming back together again, and the peer pressure always handy to have, that is for sure. Let's have a little look. Let's see where our red beacon is. I think Andy Hall's a little bit further back down the road, about 14 seconds down at the moment. So let's see who's in the bus with Andy. And I'm sure there's going to be more than one or two riders. Let's have a little bit of a look. It looks like at the moment it is Killer who is on the heels with Andy at the moment. And Killer kicking out 3.2 watts per kilo. So the riders, they can just see that yellow beacon. Andy knows just when to work and when to help on the front. And remember, our red beacon here is still doing 30 kph up the slope here. So 20 miles an hour nearly on the uphill as they head up around the climbs and through the forest. And if we drop the head-up display, you can just see the beacon going underneath this rock archway and off into the distance, but the riders working well. The tree cover just obscuring the view. If we drop on to our overhead cam, you can just see Andy pacing it nicely on his way up here, and just keeping everybody in position on the way up the climb. So let's take a little bit of a look. 17 seconds the gap to Tristan. Tristan Emptage, Tristan from Harrogate sat on the back of this group, taking the shelter on the way, and Tristan, a man who we know will be right up on the front of the affairs when the go is given. At the moment, Tristan sat in with the group at the back, working well. Well, just taking a little bit of a look at it looks like Alan Parsons having tech issues on his way around. He's got a proper blank screen, and looks like the wonders of the internet not working all that well. Meanwhile, just back in with the riders in the lead group. Looks like Tristan just sitting holding the back of the pack as riders make their way back in with the yellow beacon. Let's take a little bit of a check in. Looks like Andy Hawes is in here. Joe Jarvis running in with the group. Good to see Joe back on the Chaingang again, just sitting behind Caroline Mansfield there. Adi Dench back in as well, and Adi, of course, sitting and running around by Russ. These are the lighter disc that Adi's got in. That's the multicoloured disc. We'll just try and get a little bit of a view, see if he pops out the side of the bunch again. But that multicoloured disc that he's riding is a little bit lighter than the standard disc, and that does make a difference. And certainly in terms of a fast setup, very, very fast. But lots of people interestingly choosing the Zwift concept bike. So it looks like Alan Parsons is confirming, and he's watching, but he's unable to join. He's going to see us on Thursday. I think he's just waiting for the flatlands to come back in again. And this little climb up here just taking its toll on the riders, 4%. And a few people just holding around that yellow beacon. So the Titans Grove top spot going over the top, but just keeping an eye on the names. There's none of the riders that we care about gone across yet. Let's have a little bit of a look. A 5:36 coming there for the front of the main group. And looks like Maddie Smith, Lauren O'Brien, Emily Sica, Ennis in third place, Mansfield, Caroline Mansfield in fourth, Abby Scales and Joe Jarvis. They're our top 6 women. So let's jump back in with Andy, and you see they're not all that far behind. I think 19 seconds on the way through. So let's see, who are they going to be chasing? They're going for Hicks. And Hicks is one of our newer riders on the Chaingang. He's currently got 19 seconds on Andy Hawes. So Hicks at the moment, we'll just have to take a little bit of a look here. First time on the Chaingang. So Hicks on there, looks like Jarvis on her own here. Dowtry as well. Cootie doing the same. We have riders in 1s and 2s behind this group, so looks like there's going to need to be a little bit of a regroup. If let's take a look up on the map. So we've got Tristan and Harrogate currently sitting just chasing into the back of the pack. Tivy just up at the back of that group. If we drop back to Andy, there you can see we've got Hicks, Jarvis in there as well, all spread out by the pace that was put on up the climb there. So Horsey with a killer on his wheel. Hicks just coming onto the wheel. Looks like Joe Jarvis can be seeing the bus head in her direction. So just a quick one, a little bit of tech advice. Just been diving around on the net and keeping an eye on the live feed. If you have YouTube rolling and your internet connection slows down or your device is struggling, what you'll find is it buffers. And when it tries to buffer up, you will go behind the live feed. Now, we run multiple computers in the studio, and currently, as people are saying, it's between 2 and about 3 seconds in the studio. But we have double checked and just gone online, and it's currently rolling at 2 if you've got good internet connection and a device solely running on the feed. Delays beyond that, you can click back. So if you dive onto your screen, move the cursor, you'll find there's a button that says live. Bottom left hand side, just next to the volume button on your screen. If you click live, it'll jump back to live again, and that will get you back in once again. So coming out of the Sequoias, the group now well and truly spread out by the pace set on the front up the hillside there, and we are going to take a little bit of a check back on the timing screens, see just how spread out we are at the moment. So Andy Hall's at the moment, 1 minute 46, currently behind the main pack, with plenty of riders spread throughout that pack. Most of the group riding around about that 2 to 2.5 watts per kilo. The people who've got higher numbers generally are those lighter riders, where on the flat they have to put a bigger watts per kilo because it's about absolute watts on the flat. If you've been watching the Giro with regular Chaingang rider Brian Smithy, you'll have seen all of the analysis from the time trials and from the sprints, and of course by one of those riders who knows exactly what he's talking about, having been a former multiple national champion. Always a great rider when we have him out on the Chaingang. Now, our front group are rolling along nicely at the front. So let's take a little bit of a look at our red beacon and find out what's happening around Andy Hawes. Andy Hawes, what's the scores and doors? Andy Hawes, here we go. Let's have a little look around Andy. So we have Joe Jarvis working to get back in with that red beacon potentially. Joe, one of our riders who's regularly on the women's and the open Chaingang. Can see a 3-rider group in front. Looks like Andy, the bus driver in that group on that pink and black Pinarello, the Assos rider, has Hicks and Killer. And this is what we look to see in the Chaingang, the groups forming and holding it together, pulling it all together, and getting the group rolling faster. And you just see Joe just about to make contact. I think Andy's just easing the touch here, maybe a little bit too much, as Joe's going to go steaming past Andy's now going to have to respond to that, try and give Joe a toe, and the group, the 4 of them pushing onwards. So if we move up the road, our next rider is going to be Mr. Cootie. Cootie currently 28 seconds ahead of the yellow beacon group, and then looks like we've got about 107 to Tim Corby. So Tim just pushing his way back into the pack. Looks looks like Trevor Crehan just deciding to take a little bit of run back in pink for the Giro, and looks like he's going to be just having a nice steady roll back. Trevor just heading back through. So that is indeed the finish line. Simon Runnett questioning where the finish line is. If you're a member of the Donny Chaingang, don't forget, of course, you are a member of the supporters club. You get all of the details, tells you exactly where the start and finishes are, the profiles, the hills, and so on. Now let's take a little bit of a run up the road. Corby just coming on to the back of that group, and it looks like it's a pretty much a group of regulars all rolling around by Russ at the moment. Kieran Brown in here, Osman in the group as well. Doubtry Beefy Colin from Sequoias in that group. Thorpe's in there, Crawley in there as well. Looks like Shelley Charles, Mr. Gidley in the group, riding well today. Let's see Alex Gidley back again. Looking nice and smooth. Mr. Davis in the pack. So John Doe in the group. Mr. Lamb back in with us. Rich Orrell is in here. And Rich just riding alongside Russ. Russ in the grey Downing cycling kit. And remember, Downing cycling coached riders and the coaching staff, they have the kit. So if we take a little bit of a look at Russ riding in that Downing cycling kit, you can get that in real life. So looking super smooth. Let's take a little bit of a run up with some more of our regulars. Mr. Thorpe in here, another of our very fast riders regularly in at the finish. Looking nice and smooth here. Rob Wimble is back in with us. Can see Rob in here. So if we can jump in with Rob, another of our regular riders riding in the orange, white and black with the Yenzi shut up legs jersey on there. Mr. Flynn sat in this group, and I think Flynn's going to like this route and next week's route as well. So Flynn sat in this pack, riding along nice and smoothly, and this group holding well together on Russ's instruction. Just one or two gaps just starting to open. It's good to see Craig Herring knows exactly how much the watts are that give you the pressure. So let's see if we can jump in with Russ. Where's Russ Downing? Here he is. Let's have a little look at Russ. Sat in this group in that second pack there, the main pack. Let's see if we can get hold of Russ live and have a chat with Russ. Russ, are you there?
I am, mate.
Good to see nice group formed around you in that group, and a few people off the back, but we expected that on those roller coasters over and through Titans Grove.
Yeah, a few people off the front as well, which I don't know what they're playing at, but that's another story.
Well, they're on limited time, as we've talked about on the show a few times. The system going to be introduced for September, which will mean that we can give people nice warnings, grumpy warnings, suspend them, and then ban them. There is a hit list already, I suspect. I'm sure you've got a black book running one way or another.
Yeah, you know, I'm sat on 3.2s, 3.4s. So, you know, I'm going the right speed. I'm listening to my own orders, but other people aren't doing that. So,
well, we always have said that the ride is there for the many, not for the few, to coin a well-used phrase that got nicked by somebody else. And we are, it's all about having that ramp to work out. People taking flyers off the front, dictating what they think is the pace is not what it's about. There's plenty of races if you're that much of a wannabe to head to, but on the Chaingang it's all about that ramp warm up, and this that group around you nicely starting to pick up, and interesting to see we've got Kieran Brown back on his mountain bike for that extra tough workout.
Yeah, he loves it, Donny. You know, it's like it's a great control workout, and some are just playing under nines football and chasing the front, but you know, leave them be.
Indeed, and Kieran doing the business on the back, then that's the way to get the workout, isn't it? We've seen Craig Herring and Liam Calloway. They drop back, they bring riders on, they drop back. You got Kieran on the mountain bike, strong riders helping other people is what the Chaingang's about, and that's what the pros do when they come and join us.
Yeah, you know, we've had Thwaites doing exactly the same, you know, dropping off and then hitting us with 5k to go, so you know.
That's the
it's all about looking after the gang, which is what I do week on, week out, and it's quite tiring, actually.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I haven't actually pulled your heart rate. Which dare we do it? 107, mate. That's you're in danger of almost being about to try. I better let you get back to it.
I just actually took a few breaths then, actually, and thought, yeah, better get going. So yeah, as soon as I get above 120, the burners will kick in and I'll be off ski.
Indeed. Well, we'll let you find the nitrox and the afterburners. Cheers, Russ.
Cheers, mate. Have fun.
Have fun. So great to catch up with Russ out on the ride and looking good. And yes, Craig, we did turn around and say that you were acting like a pro. And Liam. Real great examples of how to ride the Donny Chaingang, personified in Liam Calloway and Craig Herring. And much as we might take the mickey out of plenty of riders with plenty of fishy jokes, it is definitely good to see people playing the game properly all the way through and not putting people out the back, but instead helping them back into the group. Let's take a little bit of a look at the back. We're at 28k at the moment. Let's jump back in with the gang, and Andy Hawes with the bus. It is the Self-Preservation Society at the back in action itself, with Horsey, Killer, Joe and Mr. Hicks in that group. And Colin Hicks looking like he's got this dialed at the back there, just sitting nicely on the heels of the beacon. Quick wave from Joe there. Joe clearly able to multitask comfortably at this space and giving away for the cameras. So Joe at the moment at 2.3 watts per kilo, Andy at 2.3, Killer at 2.3, Hicks about 1.8, and that's I suspect because he's probably one of our more muscular athletes in the Chaingang. Now Trevor Crehan was rolling his way back in. What's the gap? 17 seconds for Trevor to drop back to get back in with the group. Mr. Cootie is currently in front of Trevor Crehan for about 28 seconds and 45 seconds to the group behind. Looks like Abby Scales is going to be seeing that group in a while, because Abby just coming off that pack with not too many people around. Mr. Flynn, I think, is equally up the road, 27 seconds in front of Scales, 2:45 on Andy Hawes. So these riders are going to need to find a group around them. So Flynn and Co going to need to see the gang coming back together again. Let's jump in with Sherwood Pines, Kieran Brown. This is the man we're talking about. If you want to make the workout harder, grab yourself a mountain bike, ride it on the road with everybody else. And in fact, in real life, I've seen Kieran set up. He actually rides a mountain bike on the turbo trainer. And it's a direct drive turbo trainer with a mountain bike mounted on it, so that he gets the position absolutely down. Just in front of Kieran is Sonia Inslee, and Sonia and Caroline on a time trial, just about to be joined by Kieran here, and hopefully going to be able to jump onto the wheels, as Kieran is likely to be able to push to the front. You can just see kicking out 3.8 watts per kilo. Caroline responding to that, not wanting to let that gap go. She's going to try and use that, and you can see Caroline Mansfield going up to 4.2 watts per kilo, closing down onto Kieran's wheel. Now, is she going to be able to take Kieran's wheel? Can Sonia hold on to the wheels? Now, if the three of them work together, they should be able to catch the back of the pack. And it looks like an internet dropout for Sonia Inslee in Mansfield has put pay to her chances. Not good news. Now, just taking a look at the back of the group, you can see this increase in pace on the front is just starting to stretch people out. Dobson now in the danger zone, just going to jump on them, and it looks like Trevor Crehan just seeing Andy Hawes and the bus, the party bus at the back is rolling nicely at the moment. If we take a little bit of a look at this, it's not so much of a party at the back because there are riders getting a tough time now as the pace has gone up. So it looks like Alex Gidley just being distanced, Gurnhill doing the same, Charles going to be in trouble. I think Ferron just about holding the back of the group, so Sean Ferron needs to push on a little bit more here. Charles the same. The gaps have opened and they've got to get into the back of the pack before we take the climb. It's going to go round this right hand turn and the gradient will increase. It's going to get very, very tough indeed on the way up here. So Sean on the group, and you can just see the back of this pack are definitely feeling the pace here. So just taking a look up the road here, just trying to get our drone camera to capture everybody on the way through. Charles putting in a feather on the way past. He's going to use that. Has he got enough momentum to get back into the pack? Looks like Sean going to be joining the group at the back. Charles not having the pace go on there. Looks like Elliot at the back here. Scoggins just had to put in a feather flag. That's 10% off his body weight. If he's 75 kilos, that's 7.5 kilos off. You can see the feather up. So going in there, it really is starting to get entertaining as riders are starting to get stretched out. We're going to go straight on at the junction in front and look at Scotland. He's working hard. He's got himself back into this group as Ted now is at the back of the group again. Ted could be in trouble here. Main's in the group. We're going to just jump up the road. There are gaps just starting to open up in front of them. We're in with Catley at the moment, and you can just see the gaps opening behind that yellow beacon. Wow, look at this. There are riders starting to be scattered all over the place. So who's got a feather flag in? We're just on the hunt for feather flags at the moment. McDermott's in there. Looks like Reeney's using one. He's got the 10% in there in the red now. McDermott's doing the same. Everybody's trying to grab whatever assistance they can to stay on the wheels as they go up these climbs. It is really, really tough to stay with the group. And the go has gone. The go has gone. That means that it is now no limits on the pace. It is elastic snap time indeed, as quote one of our riders. And this is quite simply because it is going to be absolutely flat out. Just riding in with Vin Donahue at the moment. Vin has to pick the pace up here to get in with this group. The rider in the DCG, the Donny Chaingang kit, the Downing cycling kit on the DCG in that group. Looks like Billy Nomate's working hard, Dowtree working to get up there, Neil from the Crosscast and from Grissy in this group, sat in with the yellow beacon at the moment, and this is the beacon group. Now, who's going to be able to stay with them as they go over? It looks to me like Tristan from Harrogate's right in them. We said he'd be right on the front and playing the game on the way in. These roller coasters really are tough on the way through. Now it's Doxy. Look at this. Doxy's gone hard here. He's sitting at 7 kilos a kilo. He's just eased off a little. Little's on the heels. So Little's another of our regular. It's Doxy and Little. Then Tunnicliffe, Fisher. They're doing really, really well here, pulling that group back. They're not going to want to let them go anywhere. And Doxy at the moment having a real moment there. That was squirrely as Dowsett's corner at Cadwell Park in the time trial a few years back as he comes round that corner now. Who's in here? We got Whitelaw in this group. It looks like A.D. Dench is in here. Thorpe's in this group as well. Goddard is in here. It looks like Russ sat in the pack. Jimmy Allen's in here. Billy Nomates has made the cut. Jeffries has as well. But if we take a little bit of a look behind, you can see that gap is opening. Now, we have just gone through the climb line, and that means it is not going to get any easier for these riders. And this is where we see who was on the limit, who had the pace, who was fighting just to stay in with the pack. We're just in with Crawley at the moment. He's a man who we know can be in at the kill, but looks like Neil from the Crosscast winding it up on the front. Kogan is in this group as well. It is absolutely frantic up here at the minute. So looks like Jimmy Allen's gone again. Jimmy is gone. He's taken inspiration from the stage yesterday when the Wanty group, the Wanty Go Bear group rider went for it. The Le Marche rider went clear and took a win in his maiden tour in only his second Grand Tour road stage. And Van Hocht, who took that, is Allen going to be able to do the same? Can he hold off the pack? He's got no help at all. And indeed, a Super Taco is for sure yesterday in the Giro. If you haven't watched yesterday's stage, you've got to go watch the last 30 or 40k. Watch the highlights on Eurosport. It's absolutely astounding. It's just amazing ride. And if that doesn't bring tears to your eyes as a bike rider, nothing will. That is really tough stuff. But Doxy here closing down Jimmy Allen. Allen's not breaking clear. Looks like Crosscast Neil in there. It's got Field in the group as well. So Field in there now. Russ pushing his way up towards the front. Sam Emsley's in there. And it is still a nice elite group back onto the uphill section once again. 3% here. Let's jump in with poor Whitelaw, man who's managed to get some sunshine. Well, the ice cream van was busy today by the sounds of it, still selling ice cream. It must be the only place in the country that was doing so. But Whitelaw now sat in with this group, and we're starting to see, I think, Craig Herring just putting a power up to stay in with the group. We're just riding in with Herring at the moment. One of our riders who will drop back and help. But yet, when we come to the real pointy end, he's right in the correct place, pushing onwards. But look at this, Kogan now on the front with Thorpe for company. These are two very handy riders here. Now, Kogan having to put in a draft here to stay on with Thorpe. So it's Thorpe at the moment on the front, and it looks like Kogan having to work Phil Lavery. Look at this, Lavery is putting a big kick behind. Lavery's trying to close that gap down, but not doing so just yet. Still sits at 4 seconds to go over the fallen Sequoia here in the forest. Coming up Titans Grove now. We are going to see the times obliterated on here as these riders make their way up the climb. They are going to absolutely destroy this. The groups forming behind. Looks like Altaf just getting a group just behind that main pack, but our leaders at the moment, it is Thorpe and Kogan. Now Whitelaw is now leading the chase. He's got Lamb on his heels here. Lamb coming back to the Chaingang. Great to see him back in with us. There are 4 riders going to be at the front. Thorpe, Kogan, Whitelaw and Lamb. Is it going to be 5? It's Larry, but look at the pack. They're coming. And it looks like Dowtree is going to be sitting on Lavery's wheel at the moment as they all work to pull back the leading riders. It's dangerous up at the front. Who's going to take the KOM as they go over? It's going to be really interesting to see what the time is. We're looking to see if it can come down from a 5:29. That was Kieran smashing through the back of the group. Well, we are going to see 3 minutes 52 seconds. We told you it was going to be quicker, and it is snowing PBs out there. Look at the amount of riders setting personal best times over the top of the climb. Every rider just about coming over the top is setting a new PB, and that is because it has been so quick. We always say the group works well together. The bigger the group, the faster everybody goes. That's why it's held together. And look at this, it's just one after the other. But we need to grab ourselves the front of the pack once again. We're now on to the descents here. We're going to go in with James Little now. So in with James Little sat at the back here. Little was right on the attack on the way up. We're now on this descent down. So going to take the right hand turn at the moment. It really is tough stuff out there. If you're not in that lead group, you're working hard. Thought with that fastest time up the climb. This really is a select group. They don't want to take this group into the finish. There's 2 or 3 riders who we know are fast finishers in here, not least of which is Russ Downing, who's in this group, and Russ at the moment in this pack as we head in and through, just watching this pack all together as they climb up onto the hillside. Who's going to take this? There's 1s and 2s behind, so Kogan goes on the front, pushing hard, trying to keep the pace nice and high as they go up and around this turn. The gradient increases, and it looks to me like Lamb again is going to be found wanting if he's not careful. That chasing group containing Dench is in there, but this is going to be tough stuff for these riders. Now we're going to jump back in with Russ if we can. Russ was, we will see Russ's heart rate at 170, so 149 now. That is how hard he's working to stay in with this group. And at the front, it looks to me like the pack together again, rolling in together. Russ is going to roll up through the front of them. So it's now Downing on the front here. Lavery putting in the draft on the way down. That's the time to use it when it's fast. But it's Downing who's leading them out over these turns. Now Crawley goes onto the front in the pink. So Crawley in the pink. So in the pink for the Giro, it is going to be Crawley just about on the front. And Russ has gone from front to back in a fraction of a second there, and that is just because of the pace of these riders. Back onto the kickers. Nobody wants to rest. We've still got so many roller coaster turns on the way through these riders at the moment. Just starting to distance little. He's at 1 second. Tunnicliffe at 9. Dench at 10. Looks like Neil about 17 seconds back for the crosscast. Those gaps opened over the top, and this is our leading group. This is what's left of the real players in the front of the Chaingang. There's no wannabes up here. These are the boys and girls who can really make it happen. At the moment, it looks to me like that group is just about holding together. And we're going to drop in with Dowtry here. It looks like he is sat in this pack. And keeping those revs nice and high, 83, 177 beats per minute. So he's substantially higher than Russ's heart rate as he comes up and over the top here. But Dowtry are working well. Back onto this next climb. These kickers really do take the toll on the legs as our riders start to come out from the trees. They're going to come into view. That group just about holding together as they make their way around these turns in and through the thermal springs at the side here. The volcanic thermal park here really is hot stuff for the riders, and you can see how much those gaps have opened out. The leading group now at 21 seconds, so 21 seconds back to Doxy, 12 seconds to Tunnicliffe. But the riders, as they come around here, the time gaps are jumping up and down because it's taken to the nearest rider now. Russ just rolling on to the front of that pack here. They come around the corner. Little's back in with them. He's rejoined that group. Whitelaw sitting at the back in the orange. So onto the front goes Crawley. Crawley in the pink moves up onto the front. Then Little, then Whitelaw, then Thorpe, and Russ at the moment sat at the back of this group. And it's Whitelaw and Crawley at the moment who are doing the damage. And they really are turning the screws on the front there. It's not bunching up too much until they come off now. Dowtry doesn't want to take the front for too long. As they come around, they take the right-hand turn. We're now on that run-through. Remember, it's a 2.4k running from the start pens, and the start pens are going to appear on the left-hand side of our riders. You can just see them coming up very shortly indeed. So the leaders are coming down. Remember, we finish at that rock arch on the Fuego Flats sprint. Now, Lavery is still in here looking very comfortable, just surfing the wheels at the back. Thorpe goes on to the front. They've got a big gap, but it's not insurmountable because this is a good group of riders here. We've got Doxy, Dench, Emsley and Tunnicliffe all together here. These 4 riders currently sitting at 20 seconds behind the leaders, so the leaders can't afford to finesse too much. 20 seconds back from them is this bigger pack of riders here. Field, Jeffries, Booth, Herring, Tristan, looks like Pearson, Neil from the Crosscast in here as well. Taylor is in this group as well, and they can see the riders in front. It really is a packed group, but right up at the front you can just see Kogan now trying to stretch his legs out before they get into that sprint finish. He's gone up to 6 watts per kilo to see who he can drag out of the pack. And it's Whitelaw, predictably Whitelaw chasing down that gap, 10.1 watts per kilo from Whitelaw. And Whitelaw's gone again here. Is he going to do a taco here and go clear? He's a long, long way from the finish here. He's about 2k out from the finish. And now 2k is a long way to go on your own. It can be done. But the rest of the riders have to absolutely chase him down here. It is going to take some real big efforts though, because Whitelaw's holding some massive watts per kilo at the moment. Now, who is on the chase? It looks to me like Lamb is doing a lot of work here to close down Whitelaw. So Lamb at the moment trying to close him down. Crawley, Downing, Dowtree. Looks like Lavery in that group as well. It is absolutely flat out as they come around that third time. He's going to run out for the riders once they go past the next junction. The gaps are not coming down though. If anything, they're going out. And this group cannot hesitate. They're going to be the best of the rest if they're not careful. So at the moment it's Whitelaw, 15 seconds up the road. Lamb at 6 seconds up the road. Then it's Downing, Crawley, Thorpe, Kogan, Lavery, and these guys can't hesitate. They're only going to be settling for the minor places. They can see second place just up the road. Top spot is around the corner and heading in towards that final sprint at the moment. So into the final sprint comes Whitelaw, and he's able to back off the pressure now. He put in that early kick, and with the gantry coming up, I think he's got enough gap here. He went early, he put the gap in, and he's only having to now hold the pace rather than having to put in another kick. I'm not sure he could after that massive effort that's seen him go clear. You can see the chase behind. They're going to come very, very quickly indeed, and I think Lamb is in danger of getting swallowed up here. The wolf that's chasing it is Downing, so the bear's going to get the lamb as they come towards the line, but it is going to be Whitelaw who's going to come through on the front here. So it's Whitelaw who goes through to take victory on the flat. Great attack there as Lamb is going to get rolled here. Kogan is going to take him, so it's Kogan who's going to come through in second place. Then it's Downing in third. Oh, just about, so close. I think Crawley just about got that on the line. I'll have to watch that back. Little just being distanced a little bit in that last section, and personal best coming all the time. Now who's going to take this on the sprinting out of this little group as they come towards the line? Now we're going to see AD Dench able to roll it in to the line. Here they come. Dench is going to take this. It's Dench going through, then Tunnicliffe followed by Duxley, and a great ride there by Emsley. Now this is the next group on the way in towards the finish, and if you take a look at this, they're going to have to see who's got the power on the front. It could well be it's going to be West who's going to lead this out. West is on the front here, but look at Herring go. Herring is in pursuit here. Is he going to catch him? Is he going to swallow him up? Well, Jules has taken him. He's going around the outside, and Herring is going to get this. So it's Herring, then West, then Booth, Tristan, and then Jeffries, followed by Pearson going through. And really, really fast. Billy Nomace, oh, just about taking that from Hepton on the line. That's going to be a real watch back to Kutch, who was leading that group through. It is rider after rider after rider as they go in towards the line. Now, who can take the group in to the finish here? It looks to me like this is going to be Pearson's got the big kick on him. Mons coming from the Stelton. Mons putting everything into this. Can he get him on the line? Oh, just misses him. So close. I thought that was going to be the done dusted deal there, and you can see lots of riders absolutely hurtling in towards the finish. Now this is the next group on the road. We are seeing some super fast rides on the way in and through the line in those groups. Now let's take a look. Vin Donahue is going to lead our next group in towards the line. Just seen Emily Sequoias putting a great power up in there. Now let's take a look. I think Donahue's going to have this group. Davis is behind him. Then it's going to be Kinlock, Hawkins. Oh, Ellis just about rolling in front of Reaney and Co. Lindley sprinting a long way out. He's gone for it early. He must want to leave someone behind. He does indeed. He's trying to drop Killingsworth and McDermott. McDermott with the biggest watts behind. Is he going to be able to close down the gaps? I'm not sure he is. Killingsworth still on the front, and I reckon Lindley's going to roll this into the finish here. So great stuff once again from young Mr. Lindley. Behind him, it's going to be a real sprint here, and McDermott has got the power down. McDermott is going to take the sprint from the rest of the group there. So McDermott, Malin, Samui, and Evans and Killingsworth going through. Then it's going to be Wallace. Wallace leading home this little group of riders here. So it's going to be a Wallace going in to the line. Then it's going to be Garfoot, followed by Pillsworth, Scothard, and Elliott in that order, with Senior leading through the next group. Hilbert just behind Taylor, Catley, and Dubash in that group, with Genther rolling in behind him. Now this is our next group who's going to be taking this sprint out. Who knows exactly where the finish is out of the group coking in this pack, but it looks to me like it's Boothkirk on the front who's got the gap here. He's opening up and going to stretch it out as he runs in towards the finish line here. He's going to be ahead of Sadler and Cokin as they come in and through. Next group is going to be Jackson, I suspect, who's going to take this. So Jackson, but big kick coming here from Clark. Clark's looking to take this on the line. Oh, not quite. Not quite able to do so. It is a tricky ride on the way in, as Forry is going to be our next rider heading in to the finish. It's absolutely manic out there at the minute. Absolutely flat out. I'm looking for a gap to get across to Russ at the moment. There isn't one. Now I'm going to take a look. It's Emma Lysika Ennis putting in a great ride here. Big kick, 7 watts per kilo from Emma. And she's got that Titans Grove jersey as well, with Emma taking the top spot in the women over there. 5 minutes and 4 seconds behind. It's Bell now. Colin Bell, beefy from Cycleways, on his way through. He's got Dan Ladle on his back wheel. I know Colin's always going to sprint for a finish. It's Dan Ladle behind. It's going to be Ted. And he's got Langmead on his wheel. Come on, Ted. We want to sprint out of you on the way into the finish. Let's see if he's got anything left in those legs. Andrew Edwards on his way in. He's got Langmead. And then it's going to be Rose behind, with Sutcliffe and Charles behind them. Just heading in. I think it's going to be Ted who's going to take that from Langmead. Rose going to be our next rider to the line, followed through by Sutcliffe from out of the saddle. And then it's going to leave Sonia and Charles to go for the line, I think, with Cooper as well. And we know Sonia is likely to be attacking into that final sprint, but it's going to be close. Cooper's coming. Oh, nearly gets it. Well, so looks like Sonia Inslee just going through ahead of Cooper, and then Charles, and behind it's going to be Altaf Hussein. Good to see Altaf back on the bike, mate. Well done. Another good ride from Altaf again here today. Now we are going to take a little bit of a drop back, which means we can go over to the one and only Fonzie down in Russ. Are you alive? Are you still with us?
Oh, I'm sweet, mate. Yeah, just cruising.
Cruising. Well, you weren't doing it fasted like Altaf was doing, because Altaf's just put up. He's just finished that on a fasted ride. The man is going very, very well today. He's got no fuel on board.
I don't know how he does it, you know. It's like you say, he's on again last week, and it's just, yeah, it's unreal.
It's awesome willpower. Just watching Kieran Brown and Caroline Mansfield, and of course the Gritty is now the lean and mean version of Pretty Gritty that we had at the start of the year. A little bit of a redesign on the logo and a change over, and Caroline putting in a big kick into the finish as always. Good to see Caroline riding week in, week out, for somebody who, after the first Chaingang she did, swore blind she was never going to ride another one. She's becoming a regular.
Well, I think that's what we do, you know. Everyone says, oh yeah, I'm not getting on one of those turbo-y things, and people are just loving it. They get addicted and they can't get off it. So, you know, I saw Caroline, I can't remember what the time was, but I saw her floating around the front after we've been going a long while. So yeah, it's obviously working. It
is, and I think Caroline listening, because we've got her on the message board. I'm not sure whether Caroline's got much left in those inner limbs to take more than that. I hope not. Otherwise, we'll be getting her up with the lead group very shortly. Some great rides, and looks like Andy Gernhill now on his way through. Another rider that's improving week on a week. He's not in with that red group. In fact, I think he's about 5 minutes in front of the red beacon today, and that says just how much improvement we're getting. And again, Sean Ferrin here, Sean, one of our bigger riders, always loving it when it's fast, but today those hills over the back, that climb going up over the Titans Grove King of the Mountains is absolutely vicious, isn't it? It roller coaster, you can't get into a rhythm.
It's a great mix for me, as part of one of the climbing. Even if it's real life, I could probably just get over that. 5-6 minutes, and it's just, you're on the power, you're off it, you're on the power, not just constant tempo. So, I do love that course. It's got a bit of everything. We can regroup on the first lap over the climbs, and then we give it who dares wins and go for it. And it's good fun coming back through the desert.
Yep, definitely, and some really fast riding there, and some good sprints all the way through from the groups. That final kick in, I'm sure we're going to see loads and loads of new FTP numbers out on the Facebook page, that's for sure. And we got it all to do again on Thursday, but without that big climb, so it's going to be incredibly quick, isn't it? It's going to be all about holding the wheels on Thursday.
Yeah, I think it's like Fast and Furious 10 or something we're filming on Thursday, isn't it?
It feels like it. I think we're going to need some very nimble fingers on the old cameras, that's for sure. Yeah,
we sort of put the entries in, and we slightly cut it short on the last one, didn't we, on the kilometres? So we're up to 56k now. I think that might be the longest, one of the longest chain gangs, but it's not the longest in length for sure, in time, I mean. No,
definitely not in time. And we saw that last time. It was part of Velaskin Week, and there was definitely some of the soothing cream needed for the legs and some of the chamois cream needed, because riders were revving out on that. Because when you ride in a group, you don't normally stay in that big a pack for that long, but that was definitely happening last time. And it is a word of warning to everybody. Expect it to be quick and expect to be revving quite a lot, because you're not going to have the turbo trainer biting in. It's just going to be about pure speed, and it's about sitting in with that group, because when they go, if you miss a wheel on the Chaingang on Thursday, you're going to be distant straight away. You might as well wait for them to come round next time round, hadn't you?
Yeah, I was doing that. I was kind of on the limit on the top of that climb today. If you just slightly ease off, even down to 250, 260 watts in that front group, you were getting distance, and it was like, I heard you on the commentary saying I was on the front, you slightly ease, you were straight out the back. It was like, come on.
It's not what you want, is it? At that moment, you're just like, please let me stay in here. Just give me a break.
Yeah. My heart rate had gone above 120, so I was definitely trying.
Well, there was some really high heart rates on the way through there. They're going to enjoy watching those back and see just how hard everyone was working. Just seeing Flynn on his way through the line here, and Flynn is Jim Flynn, another rider who's been doing an amazing improvements, and he was in there and did a full lap in with the group, and in the second, it was only as we were coming into that climb that Jim was distanced, and that was great to see.
Yeah, it says he's always not in the back group, but he don't want to drop back there. He wants to squeeze it on, so he'll find a group in a couple of weeks that's just probably a minute up the road, and he'll improve even more then. So it's great to see.
Definitely, and just looking back, I think there's going to be a big old group with Andy Hawes. Killer has gone off the front a little bit, but I think Horsey is going to be doing a bit of a push into the line with that group. Meanwhile, I think Mushet and Tickers have got a little group together as well. So looks like we're getting groups forming all over the place, and that's great to see people forming fresh. Seeing more and more people meeting up in real life, and I do believe I saw a picture of you. You'd managed to take your beacon outside on Facebook.
Yeah, I just got a new cast yellow helmet. We had we stopped for a coffee. I met Vin and young Tom in they came from Mansfield, and we had a coffee in Retford. And Vin said, "Oh, put my camera on," and then a little image appears on the internet. I think I was rolling through Furbeck. I think if we'd not had I think 13 or 14-year-old Tommies, we'd have not had him with us. We might have sneaked at the Black Lion pub in Furbeck, but we had to roll straight past it. So, but no, yeah, it was good to meet up with Vin in real life, and Tom rolling 4 hours out or something on his with his trainers on was just unbelievable. And I don't know how he went on tonight, but it's in his trainers again on trainers and flat pedals, no clips or anything. So
absolutely immense stuff. That is for sure. That is for sure. I would imagine that given how young he is, that if Tom were to find somebody to post onto the Facebook page, we might be able to rustle up a pair of pedals and shoes for young Tom. So if anyone wants to help out, somebody you can keep up and do a 4-hour ride with Russ and his trainers and flat pedals, let's get together. I'm sure between us, one of us must be the right size. All we need to do is find out exactly what size he is. So
he's definitely a size 8, because I asked him at the cafe, and I'm a 41, so 7, like, so I'd help the boy out. So yeah, that'd be unbelievable, you know. If we could get a pair of shoes to him in some look pedals or something, he's going to be flying. So yeah, let's see if we can get that rolling. That'd be great for the lad.
So there you go, guys. If you're a member of the Facebook page, the Donny Chaingang Facebook page, get yourselves on there. If you've got a spare pair of size 8 shoes kicking about that you've either grown out of, don't need, don't want, or want to give them to a young rider who's going to go flying on the circuit, make me even quicker than he already is, then get in touch with us on Facebook. And of course, if you've got a spare pair of road pedals as well, that'd be kind of handy to make the whole thing go together, and then we can put everybody in touch with each other. Let's see if that Donny Chaingang spirit can get up and rolling. We're going to let Russ get back to some recovery, because he's got no doubt plenty of building to do tomorrow, as Killer and it's going to be Trevor Crehan make the way into the line. And Trevor, of course, riding in the pink for the Giro today. Yeah,
they're all getting in the mood, aren't they, you know, so it's good. I should be doing it, but I'm just scarred from riding the Giro, you know. It's 10 years ago, and I still can remember it like it was yesterday.
Definitely. Well, your first, you riding the Giro for the first time. We've just got Mr. Hicks. This is Colin Hicks, first Donny Chaingang, not with the red beacon, rolling through, doing a great job there. So fantastic riding by Hicks.
Good job, mate, and I hope to see you next week and in the future.
Definitely. Well, we'll let you go, Russ, and I'm going to go find Andy out on course.
Good job, mate. Speak to you later.
See you soon.
Goodbye.
So great to catch up with Russ, and don't forget, like we said, that Facebook page really is the place to go for the community, for the whole of the Chaingang. It's where everybody gets together. We've helped out people with bikes and kit, and really have come together as a group of riders to help everyone on the way through. And that doesn't matter whether it's somebody who's having a hard time, whether they've just lost a job because of COVID. We've seen lots and lots of community spirit on there helping people, and that's why Russ and I set this up in the first place, and that's what we want to see. So I'm going to have a little route. I may well think we may have a size of 43 shoe. I'm going to have a 42 shoe in there. We're after a size 8 road shoe and a set of spare road pedals. If you've got some kicking about, then get in touch with us on Facebook. We know a young rider who is going quick already. He's going to go even quicker once he's got those. So young Tom Lindley is a really nice kid. Was out mountain biking with him in Pines, and Russ has met up with him and Vin, and really great to see. Now, this is what we talk about Chaingang Spirit. It's Andy Horse up on your screen. Let's jump in with the big screen on Andy. So Andy at the moment is rolling around. He's pushing out the huge amount of 12 watts at the moment. He's ticking along because he's doing the beacon. He's pulled people as fast as he can in towards that finish. He's spat them out ready to go. And if we take a little bit of a look behind Andy, we're going to see two riders coming behind. You can just see them in the distance. These are Mr. Musher and Tickers. So Andy at the moment just keeping nice and smooth. If we take a little bit of a look back, Andy's going to need to start kicking now because they're coming at a little bit of a pace here. So Musher and Tickers are the two riders who've just come belting through past Andy. And Andy's now, we're expecting to see some huge watts per kilo from Andy because he's got to chase down Tickers and Musher at the moment. So Richard Musher is motoring on here. He's just on the front of this duo, and you can see Andy Horse is having to do 11 watts per kilo to catch back onto this duo. He's coming. Now he's going to have to slam the brakes back on again. So Andy just, I think he was just half asleep there. He was probably daydreaming of a new pair of Oakley Catos. And don't forget, of course, Oakley Catos, brand new Oakley, in stock with 1080. And don't forget, if you're a member of the Donny Chaingang Sports Club DCG gang, we have discounts on Oakleys and products at 1080, on coffee, on beer, on clothing, you name it, it's all in there now. Where's Mr. Hawes? He's just in front. Here he is. Here they come, and Andy just waiting for Mushet. Mushet's going to push on. Tickers sat just behind us. All three riders now start to make their way in towards the line. So here they go. They're on their way in to the finish here. And as you can see, looks like Tickers is going for it. He's going to try and close down Mushet. The line is just underneath that gantry, underneath that rock arch, and Tickers is kicking. He's kicking hard. Is he going to make it? It's going to be tight, but it looks like Mushet is going to take that. So Mushet just in front of Tickers. Tickers kicking for that line on the way in and through. We jump in with Andy Horsey, our last rider in, the bus driver extraordinaire. No pushing the back of the bus off the cliff edge today for Andy. Looking super smooth on his way through. So a massive thank you to all of our riders who played the game today, and massive thank you to all of our supporters. You can see them down at the bottom of your screen. Remember, support the people who support your sport. We're going to be back on Thursday, and remember, of course, on Friday we have a quick drink with Dean, and a chat with Dean Downing as well to come on the Donny Chaingang. And make sure, if you want to get all of those details as fast as anybody else, then you need to be a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. So we'll catch up with you on Thursday. Enjoy the next couple of days. Hopefully the weather will stay dry. Paul Whitelaw on winner tonight will sell plenty of ice creams. Hopefully he'll eat a few more and slow himself down, ready for the fast run out that is Tempest Future on Thursday. We'll see you on the Downing YouTube channel, Downing Cycling YouTube channel, for the Donny Chaingang very shortly.